Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
And we welcome you into the final 2 hours of Hangin with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. 11:30 The Tiger up in Shreveport. If you're watching along with us on CST or on YouTube, welcome in. Cade Wazay on the audio board, Paul O'Neill on the video board, along with Jacob Hester. I'm Charles Hanagriff. The one thing I pulled out of that press conference is that when asked about availability of certain players or how many guys that he was going to have, Ed Orgeron was pretty non-committal. And for somebody who's usually pretty transparent about injuries, and most coaches aren't, but he is, that tells me he doesn't know that
right.
that what his roster looks like on Monday and what his roster is going to look like on Saturday might be quite different, good, bad, or otherwise. Some kids that he may hope to have, maybe he gets them back, maybe he doesn't. But I think it's pretty safe to say that LSU is going to be very, very close to that line of players that that number, that 53. They may be one over, they may be two under, but it ain't going to dress out 85. I can promise you that. So I think that becomes that'll be the storyline for me this week is who's available for LSU. Even Max Johnson was, he finished the game, but he was hobbling around. The human interest story is the relationship between Orgeron and Kiffin, but the football story to me is who's going to play for LSU on Saturday, and how many guys they have, and at what key position groups are they going to have little or no depth.
Yeah, because you can do that for a week. You can do what they did in Gainesville, off adrenaline and kind of knowing your spot, and then you're in the game, and all of a sudden you dig deep and you find a little bit extra. But it's very difficult to do that back-to-back weeks, and it's also very difficult to prepare for a game when you don't really know who you have available. It's going to be a big challenge for LSU to figure out who they have in the defensive backfield, who they have at running back, who they have at some of these key positions, right? If Chase Hines is indeed out, well, what do you do there? Because we saw it was Cam Wire in the game. Okay, well, if it is Cam Wire, then that's the guy that backs up both tackle spots. You got to have a plan ready in case something happens there as well, because he's got to go out. Then you got to bring another guard in, which they had to do in the game.
Was it Turner
in Gainesville?
Was it
so,
when Wire kicked out to
it was Martinez?
Was it Martinez?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Turner wasn't available for this game. You should have just known, right?
If you took a roster out right now and you just had you had a blue pen and a red pen, and the blue pen was guys that could play. You put a check mark by the name, and you took a red pen and you crossed out the guy that couldn't play. It would look like that piece of paper was bleeding.
Yeah.
Right now, because they are doing everything they can to get to the finish line here. The linebackers, he thought that Micah Baskerville is going to be back on Saturday. That's a huge positive for them, because they thought that's a guy that last week, up until Friday, they thought they would have. I mean, Baskerville went to the facility to get on the bus, to get on the plane, and they pulled him off. Said, no, you gotta you got to test or whatever, whatever it was. That's the second time this year that they've had a key defensive player. No, I'm sorry, the third time, because with Stingley it was twice. But they get all the way to Friday, and as well as anybody, better than anybody, by Friday the game plan's in. The practice is done. The walkthroughs are done. Everything is in place, and then you pull a key cog out. Then Baskerville couldn't play. And I say with Stingley, this has happened twice now, where something beyond their control took him out of the game, took him out of the Mississippi State game the night before, took him out of this game after pregame warmups.
I hadn't heard that he was even questionable for the game.
I hadn't
honestly. It was something that I think surprised everyone. And you put a game plan. Now, you could also say, well, the game plan probably centered around Kyle Pitts, and he scratched from Florida, so you had to change it almost anyways. But still, I mean, you're going into a game expecting to have one of the best defensive players in the country, and all of a sudden you don't have him, and you were already thin.
So how do you go about preparing when a guy is a maybe? I think if it's 1 or 2, that's okay. LSU's got guys all over the field. Hines, John Emery, Ty Davis Price. Baskerville says he's going to be back, but I don't know if that means he's going to be back at practice today.
Yeah.
Is Stingley going to play? I don't know. I mean, maybe.
At this point, I'm not trying to be funny. Who knows?
Right,
honestly,
right,
we could
exactly.
ask a question, we could get an answer, and he's trying to tell the best truth that he knows, but I don't think any of us know until the ball is kicked off anymore.
Could change.
With COVID, with injuries, we've been surprised too many times for it not to surprise us.
And they'll go into this game with very little depth at a couple of positions, even if these guys can play.
But with that being said, it doesn't matter because you went to the Swamp. I'm here in studio looking at a TV of my friend Chris Doring dressed as the Tiger King on national TV. All is well in the world. By the way,
Paul, can we get that up on the screen?
We got to find a way at some point to get that.
So it's a blonde wig. It's the fake mustache. It's the baseball cap, and it's the.
What do you call that shirt?
Well, it looks like somebody cut a V-neck into a muumuu.
Oh, hey,
that's about the best way I can put it.
While we're sitting here and we're talking about this game, I do want to give a quote from Dan Mullen about the shoe toss. You ready for this one?
Sure.
I went back to watch the play, and he made the tackle. Part of the football move, the kid's shoe was in his hand, and he kind of jumped and celebrated with his teammates. So it's pretty unfortunate in that situation. I don't think there was any intent to taunt. So Dan Mullen's trying to sell that Marco Wilson was jumping up in the air, and the ball and the cleat flew out of his hand 20-plus yards. That's a hell of a celebrate.
Go sell that somewhere else.
That's a celebration that I've never been a part of.
You can go sell that up the street, man. The kid took his shoe and he flung it. It was basically like
football move, Hanny.
Yeah, football move. Mom, never mind. He took the shoe, and I mean, this is stuff that grade school kids do. You're playing football in the sandlot. You tackle somebody, you're wrestling, whatever. You get a shoe, and you're like, "You want it? Go get it."
Yeah.
Just like you're taunting them. I mean, this is what little kids do.
Yeah.
Your friend. You take your friend's shoe and you throw it in the sewer. Okay. I mean, go get your shoe. No, he did it on purpose.
Yeah. What's that conversation like in the locker room? What's that? Because when you look at it, and I said it in the first hour, team sport, ultimate team sport, and you made it an individual sport because you decided, look at me, I'm going to throw this shoe 20 yards, I'm going to stand over the top of you, I'm the bigger man. Okay. Well, you cost your team the potential to go into the SEC championship game with a playoff spot on the line. Now, you're underdogs, I understand all that, but you had a shot. Now you don't have a shot. I don't care if you win the SEC, 2 losses, I don't think you're getting in. Right? You've got I think I saw this morning, a 0.04% chance to get into the college football playoff. You're a veteran player, a player we count on, a player that's been here, done that, a player that's going to play on Sundays, and you do that. Was it worth it? Was it worth it to look cool for those 3 seconds before the 3 flags came out at you?
Well, you played. What would have happened if going into the SEC championship game, if that year at some point one of your guys had taken the shoe?
I don't know, because I've never seen this before. I've never seen someone take a shoe, throw it, and cost someone the game. Like if it's a late hit, and even that's not as bad, because a late hit's like you got to be smarter than that, but at least it's within a football game.
Well, if it was something where a guy was hot dogging and it cost you the game, how would you?
If it cost me that, I mean, there'd be some real conversations in the locker room. It would not be
okay. The Arkansas game. Your last game at Tiger Stadium, and this was senior night, and you guys thought when you lost that game that the chances of playing for the national championship, I mean, it was a devastating loss. I mean, I remember, Flynn was down in the end zone. I mean, I know how hard you guys took that thing. If you had lost that game because somebody had been hot dogging a grandstanding or thrown a shoe or stood over them or, peace sign on the way to the end zone or whatever, and you guys thought that you had lost a shot at the national championship because of that. If it had happened in that game, then what?
I don't know. I probably would have lost my mind. I probably would have done something I probably even regretted after that, because
that's kind of what this
you
is,
fight
right?
so hard to get in that position all the things that you've done this year, more than any year, to get to that point, all the hurdles that you've cleared mentally and physically to get to that point, and you do something like that. And looking back on, I'm sure he's like, what in the world was I doing? But it's too late. It's already been done. The deed has been done. And it doesn't matter how you were viewed in the locker room before. That's forever going to be your memory at Florida. You've done good things at Florida. All that just got erased.
That's not even something that I think you can coach. They show them a film every year of the officials film. They show you, oh, this is a penalty, this isn't a penalty. The video of all the violations used to be basically the Miami highlight tape, because it was all of the things you couldn't do for taunting. They just showed you a clip of the U, and it was like, okay, you can't do that. You can't stand over the top of them. Okay, you can't wave the football at them. You can't do to George Jefferson in their face, like they said in the 30 for 30.
Right.
I don't think
Joe Burrow, when he got hit against Central Florida in Fiesta Bowl. Remember, it wasn't hit.
That's right.
It was the guy that jawed after him that got the
That's
flag.
right. So they show you all of these things that you can't do.
Yeah.
Did they ever show him throwing a shoe?
Probably not.
Probably.
The only time I've ever seen a shoe be thrown is Austin Powers, the movie. That's about it.
Who throws a shoe?
Yeah, honestly.
I can't imagine that this particular scenario. This comes down to, you just got to keep your cool, and you didn't. But Coach, you never told me I couldn't throw the shoe. I don't think that comes up, right?
I bet poor Brain right now is having to cut Austin Powers throwing a shoe for Matt's show later today.
Oh, it's gonna be a drop, I'm sure. Make it in there. We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
Tiger Air, an independent dealer of the American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning System. Who doesn't like to save money? Well, everybody likes to save money, of course. I know that I'm saving money every month with the American Standard in my home. Just to get confirmation, Energy sends me a bill every month, and it's a little bit less than it used to be because of the American Standard, because it is the most efficient unit on the market. And the programmable thermostat means I'm never going to waste energy. And, when we have these sudden changes in the weather, I can always change it from my smartphone.
That's right, Hanny. You don't have to be uncomfortable like we are in this studio every day. You can change your temperature right from your smartphone. So if you're out, the temperature changes, you can change it before you even get home. Tiger-air.com is the website. We always encourage you to take a look at the Comfort Assurance Protection Plan. It saves you money, and it has your equipment working at its peak performance. Give them a call as well, 225-754-8687.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Coming up on Tuesdays Off the Bench, how can the Saints look to bounce back against the Kansas City Chiefs? Plus, the countdown to signing day begins. Coach O, Derek Stingley Sr., and a brand new OTB mailbag. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
And we're brought to you in part by Supreme Rice. SupremeRice.com. Perfect complement to your holiday dinners as you're cooking during the holidays, whether it's the brown, the long grain, or the jasmine, available up to the 5-pound bags. For all of your gumbos, for all of you, so we had a little shrimp stew yesterday with Supreme Rice. Sundays are good for cooking, and we had some great shrimp stew yesterday with Supreme Rice. Support our Louisiana farmers down in Crowley, Louisiana, since the 1930s. All Supreme Rice is grown, milled, and processed right here in Louisiana. Easy to pick up at your local Walmart, your Costco's, and all your AG food dealers. For more information and great recipes, go to SupremeRice.com. All right, some questions out of the Bayou Ford chat. Nelson wants to know, with the numbers LSU had going into Saturday, could they have chosen not to play if they wanted to? No, they had 54 and Ed Ogeron confirmed that number in the press conference today. 53 is the minimum that you can play with, although if you have less and you choose to play anyway, you have that option, but you can't choose not to play if you have more than that.
Right.
Now, I suppose they could have come out. They had no intention of doing this. Once Stingley went down in pregame and said, we're down to 53. But there's also
we're out position
requirements, Jacob. The Baskerville thing was so huge because I think they've got 3 healthy linebackers besides inside linebackers besides that. I mean, once you get – you had Cox – once Baskerville was out, you had Cox and Clark, and you had Josh White, who I think played a little bit in this game. And White is about 215 pounds. I mean, they never intended for him to have to play this year in any kind of significant role. This was a year for him to get in here, put on some weight, fill out a little bit, and have him play down the road. So you're short at linebacker. Running back, once you lost Emery and once you lost Davis Price, you had Curry and you had Trey Bradford, and you had then you had Josh Williams, who was also somebody that they were not counting on having to play in any kind of significant situation. This was supposed to be a year for him. Josh Williams was given a scholarship. He moved up from the walk-ons, and Trey Bradford really wasn't supposed to play all that much this year. And God bless him, he dropped 3 balls, but he caught the one he needed to catch. So you're down numbers there. If you get to the offensive line, since Turner wasn't there, Turner was the number 1 backup at all 5 positions, I think, for a number of games this year. So with Rosenthal in at left tackle, once Hines went down, you put Wire in at guard, which he had not played, to my knowledge. I don't remember him ever playing guard. And when Deculus went down for a short period of time, you kicked him out, and you said Marlon Martinez. Martinez, Hill, and Dummerville, they had not intended to have to play very much. Cole Taylor, how much had he played before they lost the top two tight ends? Very little, just a little bit. They had to press him into service. And who's the next tight end?
Nick Storrs, former
Nick
baseball,
Storrs, a baseball player. I mean, you are down to go. Once Stingley couldn't play, and Flott got ejected, and you had Ricks in and out of the game at times in the second half because he had the shoulder stinger, he had the harness on. You're down to McLaughlin, and you're down to help me out here. Jay Ward, and Joseph Evans was
Darren
in
Evans, yeah.
I'm sorry, Darren Evans was in the game. We hadn't seen him since Mississippi State. Okay, that tells you how far down the line they are.
Yeah.
At a lot of these key positions. I'd say you got enough defensive linemen at this point. By the way, Jaquilin Roy played really well.
Talked about
And you got enough quarterback. Well, you got two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I guess you're okay at wide receiver. They got Trey Palmer back. He'd missed some time.
Yeah, I guess that's the one spot you feel pretty good about. The real concern's the backs for me and the offensive line. The backs right now, you don't want to have to go in the game really having Chris Curry, who's a back, but then a former walk-on who earned a scholarship. There's nothing against that, but not a lot of playing time, hardly any. And then a scat guy who's kind of your tweener slot back. You don't want to have to line him up and give him 15 carries in a game. And so you really have one running back you feel comfortable with right now. And as we know, you can't go through the whole game with one running back. I mean, you'd have to change some of your game plan to be able to do something like that.
If you just freeze this moment in time before the last drive and look at the personnel LSU had on the field for that drive and then for the Florida drive, and you think about the sheer number of players that they had counted on from February and then into the summer when you started losing guys, and then into the fall when you started losing more guys, and into the game when you started losing more guys. How many kids did they expect to have out there that they didn't have out there? 25?
Yeah, probably.
Between opt-outs and injuries and transfer portal and somewhere in the area, 25 kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a third of your roster.
Team,
It kind of boggles the mind that they did what they did. All right, LSU beats Sam Houston 88-66. I'm kind of doing this on the fly because we didn't really get to see this game, but LSU shot 48.5% from the floor, 33% from three-point range. Cam Thomas did not have a good first half, but came on and shot 5 for 10 in the second half and 2 for 4 from three-point range. He ended up with 19 points. Javonte Smart led LSU with 25 today. He was 11 of 15 from the floor, including 3 of 5 from three-point range. LSU shot 82% from the free throw line and 33% from three-point range. They held Sam Houston to 36.5% from the floor, 25% from three. Tigers out-rebounded the Bearcats 47-32. They did have 17 turnovers, which is not a great number. But they did get Josh LeBlanc back today, his first game, as he transferred in. He ended up with 5 points and 8 rebounds. LSU was playing without Trendon Watford today. They were also playing without Sharif O'Neal today, and they were playing without their head coach, Will Wade, falling out due to contact tracing issues with COVID. So they went without him today. So LSU improves to 3-1 on the season, and they will play UNO on Wednesday as their next game.
Kind of just shows you how quick the basketball roster can change this year because the numbers are so much different than football.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously with your head coach being out, you're missing a couple of guys, and you have to start worrying about other guys stepping up. That's if you can even play. That's why, basketball does have a challenge. But if LSU ever picked a year to have as much depth as they have that they feel comfortable putting out there on the court, this is the year to have it. You're getting some guys, Jalen Cook getting some run today, getting some exposure, getting some extra time, and all of those situations, help LSU in this crazy year when you don't really know what your depth's going to look like on any given game, because you could potentially have 10 guys, out there if you tried to push the limits and play.
4 games in 8 days is what they're looking at, starting today and going through next Tuesday against VCU, which is the last game before conference play starts, and is one of the more attractive games on what was at one time a very good non-conference schedule, and has taken some blows, obviously, due to COVID. So Tigers win it by 22 today, and they will play UNO on Wednesday. We're presented to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, speaking of Richard's Honda, you can find them online 24/7 at richardshonda.com, where you can do it all. You have the Happy Honda Days going on right now. In the bottom left corner of richardshonda.com, you can see how long you have left to save. In the bottom right corner, you can have a chat with sales right there on the homepage. Of course, you'll find the warm, fuzzy promise there, the buy from home option, a 7-step process to get your vehicle of choice delivered straight to your doorstep. But we always encourage you, go see them at 13413 Millerville Greens Boulevard in Baton Rouge. That's I-12 and Millerville. Over 700 new and pre-owned vehicles that are priced to move, and no matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered. Cars, Accord, Civic, and the Fit. Multiple hybrids. They've got multiple midsize SUVs with the CR-V, the HR-V, and the Passport. The Odyssey minivan, the full-size SUV Honda Pilot, which seats 8. They have the Ridgeline truck. So as you can tell, it doesn't matter what your needs are. They can be met over at Richard's Honda. That's why it's always home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hello?
What's up, B? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Auctioner Health.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone, they have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into front-to-back boat services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-back boat services.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap your football weekend. Saints, Eagles, and Tigers, Gators. We'll also hear from Coach O. Join us Monday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Make Christmas wishes come true this holiday season with 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge's $15,000 sweepstakes presented by Acura of Baton Rouge. Your last day to sign up is today at 1045ESPN.com for your chance to win $15,000 from 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
15 what?
$1,000.
Who's eligible for that?
That's kind of a lot. Probably not us.
Okay. Just make sure,
I think you and your immediate family. I'm not sure how that works.
So it doesn't help that I got 47 children. They can't. Okay, got you.
Get a friend.
But if they have a
trust.
friend, they got
go.
friends, right?
Get a friend that you trust.
You know who I trust, Hanny?
Hmm.
Not to take you off subject here, Max Johnson.
Yeah.
I just, and we're sitting here and we're in studio, and obviously we've got multiple TVs. They just showed the highlight package on the SEC network. And I had multiple people, including some former NFL quarterbacks that were texting me. And that's not like, oh, I got enough. No, it's just friends that it meant something that they noticed his pocket presence in the game. I mean, I don't really care. Billy Volek. Billy Volek played a long time in the NFL. Played at Fresno State. At one time had the single-game passing record, I believe, in the NFL when he was with the Titans. So guy knows quarterbacks. He was actually roommates with Lane Kiffin. Interesting enough.
Game.
He had like 500-something yards in a Titan start.
Wow.
He had for a little bit. He did. So, and actually roommates with Lane. Maybe we need to get him on the show, give some Lane Kiffin stories.
There's a good idea.
There we go. But he's like, dude, this kid's pocket. He had no idea it was Brad Johnson's son. He said, this guy's pocket presence is unbelievable for a freshman. I was like, yeah, it's Brad Johnson's son. He goes, well, that makes sense, but still. He said he doesn't have happy feet. He knows where to get in the small spaces to get a throw off, and that's something that I noticed. Like, you find a way to get into a space, to get a throw off, to help out your offensive line. You don't bail. Now, is he going to do – there was a couple times like, all right, you had a pocket there. Yes, freshman mistakes. But to be able to do it like he did at that level and never looked like he was in the swamp. Because even if the fans aren't loud, like the fans part of it is more with the communication part of it. But the stage is still set. The stage is still there. You're still in that stadium. They still play Tom Petty heading into the fourth quarter, and he never looked bothered by it.
I wanted to go back. I'm looking. I got this note in here about the offensive line. There were 44 dropbacks for LSU on Saturday. No sacks, 2 quarterback hits, 4 pressures. Now, this is the same offensive line that has had problem. In fact, it's not even the same offensive line because you lost a guy in the middle of it.
Right, yeah.
And yet you noticed very little pressure on the quarterback on Saturday night. Now, I'm not telling you Florida's the best defense in the conference, but they got enough guys up there to give you some problems if you don't block it right.
They led the conference in sacks coming into this game. So,
right.
I mean, that stat is what it is. You can't fake that stat.
Their problem has been more in allowing
misassignments
rushing, things like that, rushing yards. But his ability to move, I hate to use the word slide because it kind of insinuates that he's just running away from pressure all the time. But it's just those little bitty movements.
Oh, even if it's a clean pocket, Handy, you've got to know where you have to get to get a throw off, right? And that's what makes the greats the greats. And, to see that as a young player and something you can build on, that's a big sign.
He looks very comfortable out there.
Yes. And that's not easy to do. That's not easy to do in the situation that he was in. And we talked about it in the first hour. The arm talent's never going to be confused with TJR Miles. But you can get away, with the arm talent by knowing exactly where you've got to be, where you've got to throw it. Is it going to be a pass that only my receiver can catch? I mean, you don't have to have the strongest arm in the room to be the best quarterback.
Little touch never hurt anybody. What happened to Taysom Hill yesterday? The interception that he threw.
Yeah, do a two-seamer.
Too much steam on it, and it caroms away, and you end up with the interception. Johnson's ability to move is what separates him from Brennan and Finley. Now, I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to look like next year or in the spring, but that's something that he's got that they don't have. And it's not that they can't move at all, but they can't move much. I'm sorry, neither one of them can move around very much. Now, you can compensate for that by getting the ball out of your hand quicker, and you can work on accuracy and touch and things like that and get better at it. But he does some things that are unique to him that the other quarterbacks don't have. So
yeah,
I'm anxious to see him again. I think that he's got a world of upside, and I don't necessarily care that he doesn't have the strongest arm in the room. The guy that just won the Heisman Trophy didn't have the strongest arm in the conference either, but he knew, and I'm not saying that,
right.
Johnson's going to be.
We understand that. Yeah. But the traits that you see early are encouraging. That's what we're saying. The traits that you see from a young football player to be a great quarterback are starting to show. Now, you're going to have an Ole Miss team that has a full game-length film on him. We'll see how he reacts to that, and we'll react to it as well. But that stage, that moment, knowing what you had to get done, your team absolutely had to have something. They had to have an effort that you showed. So it was really good to see from a young football player. Hanny, I do want to ask you this question. I've gotten it on Twitter from Eric Hood, and I've gotten it multiple times. And you're one of the best people to ask this question to, I think. What did you think of using the last timeout, not saving it to kick the field goal, and Mullen using his timeout so we didn't have to rush? And they're listening to the show, so shout out to Eric for listening.
Yeah,
you're big on clock management.
Yeah,
I play for less, so maybe I don't think about it as much.
You never want to have to run, right? You never want to have to run the field goal unit out there. Your Chargers yesterday.
Yeah.
They're trying to run, and did they get it up? No. You want your kicker to get out there. You want him to feel
that far too.
You want him to feel comfortable. You want him to get out there, get his bearings. You don't want to rush the protections out there. You don't want to rush the holder. You don't want to rush the snapper. It was I didn't like it, okay? I wanted them to save that time. The other thing it does is it keeps the middle of the field open if you wanted to throw the football. You can put the ball in the middle of the field and still call a timeout. You're counting on Dan Mullen to bail you out there. I don't know if they were thinking this far in advance, but if you're slowing things down here a little bit, you say, well, if we take our timeout now, we know that Mullen will take the timeout for us because if they make the kick, he wants to have time to come back.
Yeah, and let's call it like it is. I mean, Dan was conceded in the game a couple of times. Like he had the belief that no matter what, we'll be able to roll our offense out there and we're going to win this football game time and time again, in my opinion. And he thought, you're going to miss this kick. I'm going to have it in midfield. I'm going to have enough time to go do whatever I need to go do.
Or even if you make the kick, you still want to leave time on the clock. Now, he could have gambled. He could have, you're counting on him to take the timeout for you. What if he doesn't? What if he says, you know what? I see you ain't got any timeouts over there. Go ahead and rush your team out there.
But honestly, I think LSU was not ideal to rush him out there, but they would have got set. They had 20-something seconds left. They would have gotten set, and they probably would have let the clock get down to about 4 before they snapped it just to make sure Florida didn't have an opportunity from where they were at that moment. So you did have time to set up. You would have had your normal thing, but
they would have gotten it off, Jake. But
57 yards in the fog. You don't want that.
I don't want to add to my kicker's anxiety at that point.
I'm just saying. I think they would have taken all the clock if they would have had. They wouldn't have rushed it because you didn't want to get Florida the ball back there. And I was surprised Florida. Now maybe they did. Maybe the Fog's playing tricks on me. They didn't have anybody back there to catch it in case it was short either.
Well, I think they did.
Did they?
Yeah, I think they did.
Maybe Gordy's camera angle is the only one I've seen.
I thought they did, but maybe
that's why we have our loyal listeners.
Maybe
because
I'm imagining things. I'll look at it. During the break.
If they didn't, that's actually really good coaching because they've seen Cade York in his leg string.
What I would have wanted to do was save the timeout and take it with 4 seconds to go or 3 seconds to go and then kick the football. Get out there, get comfortable. So when they took it before that, I thought it was a little bit of a risky play.
But I will say the third down play had your quarterback on the move. I think they thought they were going to have a run-pass option. Florida actually did a really nice job of defending the play, and you've almost got to let that play develop a little bit more before you throw it so your player does have the opportunity to get out of bounds. Now, the yards you got, that actually saves you there because you needed every yard you could get, although Cade might have been good from 61. So that was a situation there as well. You're watching Gordy's video. I was wondering what that was. I was like, I hear G Rush.
I'm watching it because I wanted to see if I can make.
Do we have the Zapruder film?
No, he was too busy jumping up and down for me to see it on this one. I thought they did, but I could be wrong. So we'll do some investigative reporting during the investigation during the break, which means I'm going to get into the chat and somebody else.
I was about to say that means like Craig or Nookie,
right? Somebody will bail us out.
Or William, one of our loyal listeners, is going to let us know.
Yes.
Rusty Brooks, Florida did not have anyone back.
Did not. Okay.
The vote for me. Thank you, Rusty.
All right.
Appreciate that.
We trust Rusty?
If he says I'm right, I do.
Thanks. We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny. We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
They are exactly the same.
They're identical. Actually, they're not. Hester also has antioxidant vitamin C.
Antioxidant?
Then we'll take Hester.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I build a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
Tune into a Monday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, live from Ivar Sports Bar. Jimmy recaps the football weekend, including Saints, Eagles, and LSU, Florida, and we look ahead to the rest of the week's action. Join us at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
I had a question out of the Bayou Ford chat. Should Eli Ricks have been penalized for taunting? And the answer is yes.
To the letter.
He went out of
rule.
he went out of his way to move his teammate out of the way, turn around, and
he literally pushed.
Yeah,
was it Jay Ward out of the way?
It was get out of the way so I can taunt Kyle Trask. Yeah, he should have been.
All right, so I don't want to sound like the old man. Obviously, that's the second time. Okay, it's going to cost you sooner or later. Now there's going to be a book out on you. People are going to start looking for it. Can't have it, can't do it. Hopefully you don't do it again. But I was listening to you on postgame, and T-Bob made a good point that he's got some dog in him, in a good way. We talk about that all the time. I like my top-tier shutdown corners with that attitude.
Yeah.
I really do.
And the kid can play.
Yeah.
I mean,
just clean it up at the end. If you want to jaw a little bit during the play, maybe a couple things after it, that happens all the time. Like that, you're making it about yourself. You can't do that. Hopefully that's out of here. But I do like my corners having that type of mentality.
He's got very good cover skills. He's not perfect. He's made some mistakes, obviously, but I think he's better now than he was 10 weeks ago. And you want to see development out of your players. It was a beautiful play that he made. Now, they've had problems in that secondary. I mean, my God, they've had bust after bust, but a lot of them haven't had to do with him. So he's going to get better. He's a pretty talented cat. So at some point and listen, Trask was coming right towards him. He's backing up, and he's giving him the business at that point. I wouldn't have blamed Trask if he'd have put a forearm right in his throat. I mean, he's like, you want to talk? Come on, let's go. I wouldn't have been surprised at all if he'd have done that. So just say, listen, I mean, he's a great player, but just be prepared for somebody to take a shot at you at some point.
And again, I hope he doesn't lose his edge. I really don't. Like I don't want him to lose his edge because there's a swagger about him. There really is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think that probably plays into some of him believing he can't be beat. And I think he's played really well as a freshman. I mean, look at the interceptions. He's one of the top guys in the conference. And so don't lose that, but just be smart of a scoring play, because ask my man Brad Wing against Florida. They'll take a touchdown away. And LSU needed that momentum. They needed that swim, because if you put it back, what do you do it on the 2-yard line? If you put it back on the 17-yard line, you're talking about a different ball game.
Yeah.
Because wouldn't it be a foul right there on the 2-yard line, 15 yards?
I'm
trying to think what Brad Wing's was.
Wing was inside the 10 for sure, and just depends on where the officials. Something bad's going to happen. Okay, if you end up doing that. Gus Malzahn fired over the weekend at Auburn. We're officially on Hugh Freeze watch there to see if they get what appears to be their number one target.
It does. It's a guy that has had success against Saban because success, you say, wait, 2 wins. Yeah, 2 wins successful against him because the rest of the conference right now, as we said, now we're number 1, has 1 total win. With the current coaches, 1 total win. And by the way, here in this segment at some point, we'll talk about how many coaches have been hired in the SEC since Nick was hired at Alabama.
In 2007?
And this comes from our guy, Nook. I appreciate the research.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 13 years.
And go ahead and throw in who's going to be hired as well.
So I get to count Vandy and Auburn here,
right,
and South Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in 13 years, conference averages probably. Well, they didn't have 14 teams the entire time.
You can count A&M in here.
Yeah. Well, just since they got into the league, let me say an average of 3 a year times what was it? 8 years. 3. No, I'm gonna say 4. 4 year times 8 years, 32, and 3 times the other. 5 over 47.
48.
Well, you gotta. I mean, I
well
gotta,
done, Hanny.
I gotta do math in my head.
Your elementary math teacher, if she's listening right now, is feeling really good about what she taught you.
She was in her 60s when I was in grade school. So
yeah,
I'm
let's
thinking
move on.
she's
Yeah,
probably
okay.
not with us anymore. But yeah, you average about 4 since they go to
pretty
14.
amazing. It's pretty amazing stat there, and not every year, do we have like we're going to have this year. And we didn't think we'd have any this year, but when you start to look at some of these names and some of these programs, I mean, it's a little bit of a surprising number. And Auburn is going to be on their 4th coach, Tuberville, Chiswick, Malzahn, and whoever the new hire is. Even at Florida, there's been Urban, there's been Muschamp, Jim McElwain, Dan Mullen. I mean, you've got movement at some of the big programs within the Southeastern Conference.
Who's had the most? Tennessee?
Let's see. Tennessee has had 5. Arkansas has had 5. Texas A&M has had 4. Vanderbilt's be on their 5th.
5 coaches in 13 years.
Tennessee's had Phil Fulmer, Lane Kiffin, Derek Dooley, Butch Jones. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and mark that one out of the podcast there. And Jeremy Pruitt.
You're gonna get some hate mail from Arkansas State. They brought that guy.
Sorry about that. Did not mean to do that.
Freudian slip.
Don't really even know Butch Jones, but sorry about that.
Freudian slip. You have. This is my argument for the. Anytime a coach has a bad game or a bad year, just go ahead and fire him. Like anybody saying, Ed Ogeron should be on the hot seat. He should be fired. Okay, that's crazy. Okay, it's beyond crazy. It's ridiculous coming off of a national championship season because anytime you get onto this revolving door of coaches, we like to poke fun at Auburn because they keep their coaches under more pressure than anybody. But Malzahn was there for 8 years. He had a decent run. When you start to turn over coaches like that, it is usually a recipe for a unstable program. We've seen it happen at Tennessee. We've seen it happen in Nebraska. We've seen it happen. Michigan has actually stabilized. They've just got the wrong guy. In there.
What do you think about that job? Because I think it's a top job. You think it's a top job, but I mean
Tennessee.
No. Sorry, going back to Auburn.
Oh, okay.
Because you mentioned it. Because they're still there. That's a better job than Tennessee right now.
Oh, but by a ton.
A lot of people point to the hot seat's always hot, but isn't it at every program that's at the top of the SEC? I mean, I think you can make that argument that, Coach Chiz, who I love, he's been on our show many times. Obviously, he got the quick pull after he won the national championship after 2 bad seasons. Okay, well, Gus, like to your point, was there 8 years. I don't think it's as unstable as people say that job is. There's going to be rumors everywhere in the top 4 programs in the SEC.
It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more stable than it used to be. The running joke 10 years ago was Auburn's got to be the only school maybe in history that's fired 3 different coaches that had an undefeated season. A coach that's had an undefeated season, even just one, is usually a pretty valuable commodity. And Auburn fired 3 of them. And every time you get to, and I made a mistake earlier. I said the 2017 was the year of the kick six. 2017 was the year they beat Georgia and Alabama, and Gus got the extension. But the year that they beat Georgia and Alabama with the prayer Jordan Hare and the kick six was 2013. So I made a mistake in my numbers there. But if you get into a situation where you are playing two top 5 teams and you got to beat them both to keep your job, well, that's tough, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's and maybe if he had split, he would have still kept his job, just not gotten an extension. I don't know, but I do think it's a top 15 job.
Where do you put that job in the SEC, real quick?
It's behind Alabama, it's behind LSU, it's behind A&M, it's behind Georgia.
You put it behind A&M. I say I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'd have it 6.
No, I have it in 4 or 5. It's not behind A&M. A&M has not to this point done it on the field like Auburn has.
6 in the conference, but probably
top
12th in the country. Yeah. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who, without being asked, shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community? We believe that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust.
So, if you know someone that sounds like what Jordy was just describing, nominate them to be your good citizen, and they'll have a chance to win $500 from Citizens Bank and Trust. Plus, we'll mention them right here on the show. So go to citizensbankandtrust.com for more details and nominate your good citizen.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into front-to-back boat services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-back boat services.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, Oregon will replace Washington in Friday's Pac-12 championship game against USC because of the Huskies' COVID-19 issues. Rookie quarterback Jalen Hurts will make his second straight start for the Eagles Sunday against the Cardinals. That announcement came today from Coach Doug Peterson. Hurts, in the win over the Saints, provided the spark the team had been looking for offensively, points out ESPN's Dan Orlovsky.
He played really decisive football. And for a kid to have that opportunity and to go and that be the defining name that comes out of that game yesterday for him, or the style of play that he had, was a really good sign. And so definitely some growth has to happen with the passing game for him, but it looked like a completely different offense with him at the helm.
Dan Orlovsky on Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Cowboys VP Stephen Jones on 105.3 The Fan said that Coach Mike McCarthy will return next season. Cleveland Indians owner Paul Dolan told the Associated Press the team will play and be branded as the Indians for the 2021 baseball season and then begin the process of identifying a new name. It will not be a name that has Native American themes or connotations to it.
I'm telling you, Baker Mayfield will have a huge performance on Monday Night Football and push the Browns to even a higher position in my real ranking. So how high will they rank? Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, Tuesday, 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 1130 The Tiger up in Shreveport. CST and YouTube, lots of ways that you can be with us here. Alongside Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff. Some strange outcomes over the weekend in some of the games. None shocked me more than North Carolina putting up 550 yards on the ground against Miami and completely annihilating the Hurricanes, by 36 points. Missed that one over the weekend. Missed that one bad. USC with a late touchdown inside of 20 seconds to go to beat UCLA. Came from way back in the fourth quarter, scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. Colorado fell from the ranks of the unbeaten this weekend. LSU pulled the biggest upset of the weekend. Auburn won but fired their coach anyway over
After
the
dancing in the locker room. That's a weird scene when you're doing that, You're dancing in the locker room after the big victory. Because we talked about it last week, we thought, man, if he loses this game to Mississippi State, then he could really be in trouble. Well, you win the game by 2 scores. It wasn't a pretty game. It was more of an old-school SEC game, but you win it. You got the music blaring in the locker room. You're pulling the dad moves out, and then all of a sudden, wait a minute, I'm fired. Although, I guess if you have to end a relationship that's been 8 years long, it's cool. You got to celebrate with your team, and you're getting paid a lot of money to sit at home.
They made the decision, obviously, before the game that this game didn't matter. Probably made the decision 3 weeks ago and said, unless he beats Alabama, then
you had this
one
3 weeks ago. I remember having conversations with you. You're like, hey, it's hot. It's hot there.
It was. I believe me, the Auburn people that we know. I mean, come on, they're pretty well plugged in. They're also good financial advisors. So. Anything short of upsetting Alabama in this year, I think he was going to be he was going to be out the door. And we touched on this just a little bit where he ends up next. Some people in the Bayou Ford chat have said, would you want to bring him on as an offensive analyst? He'll have some options. He'll also have a check for $10.5 million in his hand by the end of the month, or well, 30 days from now, I shouldn't say by the end of this month, but $10.5 million buys you some time. He doesn't need to go. He doesn't need to go get a job to make ends meet. So, where do you think? What's a logical place for him? You made a funny when we were at Sammy's.
Don't make me say Butch Jones again.
Yeah, I'm not.
And call him something I get in trouble for.
That Arkansas State, where Malzahn had a tremendous amount of success,
knows the area. I mean, his time at Springdale, Arkansas.
My guess is that Gus Malzahn will get another Power 5 job. Now, he's not going to get a job as good as Auburn, but at Iowa State, okay?
You're really trying to tie him to Chiswick, aren't you?
No, I'm saying that I used Iowa State because Matt Campbell is a hot name and is going to move on from there at some point when the right job comes along. If you were Iowa State, wouldn't you hire Gus Malzahn? I would. I mean,
I would. Here, I laid it out in the first hour. Here's what I think that would help him, because he's not confident calling plays right now, is if Billy Napier left Lafayette, if Coastal Carolina came open, or one of those type of jobs, if Luke Fickell left Cincinnati, you go there and you dominate and you score points, you get back to calling plays. You don't let anybody else come in and call. That's why you had the Auburn job, because you were one of the best offensive minds in the country.
I don't know why he didn't.
Go back, call plays at one of those big-time group of fives where you can go win every game, like right off the bat. Like the team's already built, so you don't have to go to wherever and rebuild that Power 5 program. Get your confidence back, and then go out there. Then you're going to get another opportunity. Hugh Freeze, right? He kind of, because he got in trouble, but now he's doing it at Liberty. Now his name's back in every one of these coaching jobs. And so, that's something that he could do. I wonder, what other jobs are going to be available, because we've never really seen this much movement before the last game was played.
He'll take a year off. I mean,
go do some TV. I don't know if that's what he wants to do. I don't know how good he is on TV.
He could go be an analyst. He could go spend a year
counting his money like Scrooge McDuck.
Counting his money. But we've heard coaches that they take a year off and they kind of go different places. Ed Ogeron did that, where you're out of coaching, but you go and you basically go on tour where your friends are coaching.
Yeah.
You go and you get new ideas. You go watch how somebody else runs. You don't have the restrictions that you would have if you worked for another program. You're a free agent. So Gus Malzahn's got friends all over the business, I'm sure. Go spend a week in an NFL training camp. Go spend a week with Sean Payton. Go spend a week with, Mike Tomlin. Go spend a week with, whoever in the college game that you respect. They'll let you in. They want to pick your brain and say, hey man, we can pick up something from him. You could do that. You could do some TV, and then in a non-COVID year, you find an attractive landing spot.
How much can he watch though? Because this is a former high school coach. Those guys, in their DNA, is football and football only. Can he stay away? Now, the money tells you he can, right? Yeah. Because obviously if you get a new job, then it changes your buyout and all that. We know all that. Can he stay away from football that long? Can he not be around it?
I wouldn't want to be looking for a job this year because I think there's too many things that schools can't answer. For instance, if you went in to Auburn, whoever the next coach is going to be, and you ask them, listen, can you guarantee me I'm going to have this much budget for staffing? I'm going to have this much budget for facilities. I'm going to have this kind of control over scheduling. And there's any number of things that you have to ask specifically that maybe the school can't answer.
Yeah.
Like you say, hey, well, listen, can I have a home and home with a Big Ten team? I don't know, man. We need to schedule more home games. Can I spend $2 million on my offensive coordinator? I don't know, man. We just spent $20 million to run the last guy off. You might have to come in under that. But they might not be able to answer that question now, but a year from now they could answer it better. I wouldn't want to be looking for a job this year. I just think there's too many unknowns to it. Now he may feel differently, but there's all kinds of different ways that you can go about this. For instance, there's two coaches that just got fired this year that neither one, both of them had gotten fired from their previous job and got another Power 5 job. And I would argue to you that Gus Malzahn has been much more successful than either Will Muschamp or Kevin Sumlin. And both of those guys got fired from their previous job, really good jobs, Florida and A&M, to take not as good but still Power 5 jobs in South Carolina and Arizona, and both of them got fired again. Now, that may not bode well for Malzahn if they try to, if he wants another Power 5 job right off the bat, and the AD says, I don't know, man, you got fired. This job ain't as good as the one you left, and you didn't do well enough to keep your job there. But I would have never figured when Will Muschamp got fired at Florida that he would get another SEC job right away, and he did. I wouldn't have figured when Kevin Sumlin got fired from Texas A&M that he would get another Power 5 job, and he did. Is Gus Malzahn going to be a Power 5 head coach next year? I don't think so. I just don't think there's that many openings this year. But if I were him, I would probably take the year off. Let the dust settle a little bit, count your money, recharge the batteries, and go back next year and see what's open.
He'll have an opportunity, without question. If he wanted to coach next year, he would have that opportunity. But I agree with you. Take some time, reset, figure out what you want to do philosophy-wise when you do come back, because you've kind of been all over the place. You've changed so much to try to keep the Auburn job. Figure out who you are. One of the things to pay attention to, though, with who's left at Auburn, because there's some good coaches on that staff, what happens with Kevin Steele?
I think that if Hugh Freeze is the next head coach at Auburn, that Kevin Steele will be the defensive coordinator. Now, if it's somebody else, I'm not as certain, but they think an awful lot of him there. And there would be, I think, a strong desire by the Auburn administration that the next coach would keep him. And if it's Freeze, I'm pretty sure he would. If it's somebody else, that's a little bit more of a difficult call. It would make me a little bit nervous as an Auburn fan if the administration pushed Kevin Steele on the new guy too hard. I always get nervous when athletic directors hire assistant coaches. I've got this picture of Joe Dean and Lynn Amity forever burned on my brain. I think you got to let the head coach hire who he wants to, and if he's wrong, then that's on him. But I would never, as an athletic director, want to have a conversation where I say, listen, you need to hire this guy. You have to hire this guy. And then things start going wrong, and you go to your head coach and you say, what's wrong? It's like, well, you made me hire that guy, and that's not the guy I wanted. I didn't want to run that particular schematic. I didn't want to have I don't have a relationship with him that makes me comfortable, but you made me, so this is kind of your fault. But I do think that if it's Hugh Freeze, it would be Steele.
And it would depend if it's a defensive-minded head coach. He's like, no, I'm not having Kevin Steele on my ear. He's a great coach. Respect him.
Yeah.
This is my deal. If it's an offensive coach, then you have a better chance of Kevin Steele being there. But if it's a defensive guy, he's like, no, this is my principles. We're not running Kevin Steele's. I appreciate you. You're good, but not good here.
It shows a lack of trust in your head coach. It's like, well, I'll hire you, but then I have to tell you who I want you to hire. No, you hire the guy, let him do the job. We'll take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny is brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
GoTro's Outdoor Power, just a little bit of time left in 2020. So the 2020 Skag Zero Turns available right now at terrific pricing and with great financing, 60 months interest-free financing available on all the commercial and residential units from Skag. GoTro's Outdoor Power for years in the Gonzales area, also in Baton Rouge for all of your mowers, all of your blowers, all of your trimmers, generators, as well at both locations of GoTro's, and free delivery with any new mower that you buy.
That's exactly right. Hanny mentioned those two locations. Go check out those showrooms because right now in stock they have the Turf Tiger 2, the Tiger Cat 2, the Patriot, the Freedom Z, the Cheetah 2, which is another commercial lawnmower. They have the residential Liberty Z. So go check out the showroom at both locations. But if you can't, check out GoTro'sOutdoorPower.com across the state of Louisiana. Free delivery to your doorstep. That's GoTro's. We make it easy.
Football's back. Tune in tonight as we wrap up a full weekend of NFL coverage. It's Monday Night Football as the Cleveland Browns host the Baltimore Ravens. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Coming up on Tuesday's Off the Bench, how can the Saints look to bounce back against the Kansas City Chiefs? Plus, the countdown to signing day begins. Coach O, Derek Stingley Sr., and a brand new OTV mailbag. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Terrific event coming up on Thursday at Alexander's Highland Market. It's just across from Blue Bayou. It is their rare whiskey auction, and all the proceeds benefit Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. It features a number of rare whiskeys, but that is including Pappy Van Winkle and the Buffalo Trace Distillery Antique Collection. The raffle starts at 6. Tickets are $15, and ticket sales close at 5:30. The event goes from 5 until 7. There's whiskey samples, there's wine tasting, hors d'oeuvres. So this is coming up at Alexander's Highland Market this Thursday at 5 o'clock, December the 17th. So might make it in my plans to make it by there. Got a little time off coming starting on Thursday, so a good place to kick it off, don't you think?
Yeah, you do. You got a nice little weekend, little extended weekend planned.
Yeah, you got you're here Friday without me. You have
we'll see if we can get the old band back together.
You sent out a search party for Flynn?
Yeah, Coast Guard. Probably on the beach. I figured that was my best service to try to find him first.
I would. Hey, best of luck with that.
It's sad because it's true.
Yeah. Well, he can, they'll let him in the building, right? The building's back open, so you got to.
I mean, he technically, he's got a couple things he still does here at this station for some companies, so he technically can get into the building.
He's got a key card?
Well, I can let him in.
Okay.
He doesn't need a key card. I mean, he can be.
You don't have to be authorized. Cade, can Flynn come in the building and see? You go to all those meetings.
Yep.
He's cleared. See, he's listening. You're up.
All right, let's see if we can get this done. We'll see if we can get Dixon, Bain, Flynn Friday.
He has to wear a My High mask when he comes in.
Oh, he probably has 7 of them. He's all
it's
about
free advertising. I mean, why wouldn't you?
I get it, but knowing him, he tried to do the segment with the mask on. Like he tried to put it over his. Who knows?
He's gonna put it over on his forehead. He'll raise it up. Saints drop their game to the Eagles yesterday, 24-21. Big time disappointing loss because it's a team that you should have beat. It's a team starting a rookie quarterback in his first ever NFL start. Your rush defense, which has been rock solid, has not allowed a 100-yard rusher in 3 years, allows 2 in one game, including the quarterback. Jake, how much of this is just everything that Philadelphia did offensively yesterday was a departure from what they were doing under Carson Wentz, and they just caught the Saints in a bad spot with some things that they didn't expect?
I thought the Saints would have a game plan to say, you know what, beat us passing the football. And I didn't really feel like they had that. They still were playing like it was a straight-up offense when the Eagles definitely had a point of emphasis to run the football. You know, they had 36 carries as a team. And I know Jalen Hurts threw 30 passes, but most of that was intermediate. It was get him out, roll him out, let him throw it, 7 to 10 yards. And the fact that the Saints allowed the Eagles to really dictate the pace of the game, run the football, all those type of things, that surprised me. I thought you'd see a stacked box, and we didn't really see that. I mean, Jalen Hurts, again, only completed about 52% of his passes.
Hurts ran for $106. He threw for 167. Okay, can I get Payton 2? This was Sean Payton 2. Yeah, if you could. My machine is not
got frostbite.
It does in here. This was Sean Payton on Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia run game.
He played well. He played exceptionally well, and he hurt us. We'll look at the tape. Obviously, we didn't do a good enough job of slowing that down. When a team rushes for 250 yards, not a lot good can happen. But I'll say this: he was impressive just watching him. I thought he played with poise. Made some throws. He was smart. He did a good job.
Jalen Hurts, like Taysom Hill, strikes me as a very effective backup quarterback in the league that can fill in for games, and it just changes the whole dynamic of what you do, and over the short period of time can give you trouble. Not necessarily somebody that I would be comfortable with as a starter. I don't think Jalen Hurts is a full-time starter in the league, and I have my doubts whether Taysom Hill is either. I think for Hurts, I don't think he's accurate enough. I don't think he's an accurate enough passer to be a full-time starting quarterback in the league. With Hill, I just have ball security issues. He's turning the ball over way too much. Another lost fumble yesterday. Yeah. He hasn't thrown a lot of interceptions. In fact, yesterday was the first one, but since he's been the starter. But he puts the ball on the ground too much.
And that's surprising considering how much in his football career, not NFL, but football career, he's carried the football.
Yeah.
I mean, he carried it at BYU like a running back. He's carried it in the NFL. He's been a returner in the NFL, but it seems like it is just so loose in his arms. And he has to have that clock go off. And sometimes we talked about it earlier. Sometimes when you're a dual threat guy and you can extend plays and you can make magic happen with your legs, sometimes you have a tendency to try to do too much and just sometimes you got to cut bait. You got to live to play another down, and that's when he gets into trouble, is when it's a 7-second play, because the offensive line, as good as they are, they're not going to block anybody for 7 seconds, and then that's when he gets into the fumble situations.
I thought that of the 5 sacks, at least 3 of them yesterday were on him for holding the ball too long. So those type of things, I don't think that Taysom Hill over 16 games. I texted you yesterday. So 3 films on on a guy, and that's what the league has now. They get 3 films on Taysom Hill as a starter, and I thought they did some things yesterday that gave him trouble. He didn't have a terrible game. I mean, he threw for almost 300 yards and a couple of touchdowns, but you turn the ball over twice, you get sacked 5 times. At least 3 of those, in my opinion, were his fault. That's a rough game.
They didn't run him a lot yesterday. He only had 5 true carries. That is a part of his game. That's part of who he is. And you have a very capable backup, so you're not worried about him getting injured.
It's the biggest part of his game.
I mean, so I was surprised they did in some short yardage situations too. They decided to go elsewhere. That's where he makes his hay. That's why he's got that contract that he has, is because of his ability to run the football in between the tackles and be creative there. So, I mean, I know you didn't run the football a ton as a team. You only had 20 carries, but that would be ideal with everything that was going on in that game. I thought that he would have more opportunities to run the football.
I would have said that as well. It was a breakdown for all 3 phases for New Orleans. You didn't stop the run at all. You didn't offensively produce enough opportunities for scores because of the turnovers, because of the sacks. And then you get to special teams where Will Lutz is just in he's in a mini slump.
It's starting to become more than mini, which he's been so consistent. Maybe we hold him to a different standard.
I think he's missed 5 of his last 14, 9 and 5. Look, for 2 years, I thought the guy was, if he wasn't the best kicker in the NFL, he was just behind Turner. I don't know that he could have been much better than he was for the last 2 years. But, here lately, he's missed some that I would expect him to make 90% of the time. He missed 2 field goals yesterday. He lost the game by 3 points.
Didn't he miss a 57-yarder yesterday?
He did. He's made that before. We saw him make that against. No, this is outside. Against the Texans. Remember the season opener where he made it was 58, I believe. No, that was inside. Okay, this
it's just funny that.
But the other one was what 30.
The chip shot for him,
for
think, sure, and that's where he really been so money is 40 yards and in.
Yeah,
just LSU's kicker did make a 57-yarder.
He did. He's a professional.
He is a professional kicker.
Cade York is going to be on an NFL team. There's no doubt, and I don't just say that because he made the one kick. As great as it was, it's not 9 out of 11 from beyond 50.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Are the Saints special teams a worry for you? Am I looking too much into this because I'm special teams core guy? They're next to last in the NFL in net punt and punt average. I'm sorry.
Are they really?
Yeah, 42.6. The only team worse is the Falcons at 41.6.
I don't think of Morstead as a liability.
This hasn't been his best year.
No, and he's an older guy now. He averaged 53 yards a kick yesterday. I mean, that was pretty good. I didn't realize they were down. I didn't realize they were down that far. No, I've considered the Saints special teams to be a positive because Lutz has been so good, and I didn't realize Morstead was having quite that bad a year. And I think of their kick coverage generally as, pretty adequate.
21st in the NFL in field goal percentage, so not where they're typically at. Their returner is out. Their big-time returner that's a threat to take it. Tommy Lee Lewis doesn't really give you much back there, in my opinion. He doesn't have that burst that we've seen, obviously. But it's something that's maybe a little bit concerning to me just because I pay attention a little bit more to that. But championship teams typically have all the phases kind of figured out as you're getting at this point in the season.
You're absolutely right.
Like the onside kick yesterday. I don't know if I was more mad at anything over the weekend than the Saints not coming up with that. And it was a weird feeling because it was 2 LSU Tigers that were fighting for the ball, and Jalen Mills and Duke Riley. You had your hands on that ball. In that situation, you're going to have to Ronnie Lott cut off my finger to get this ball out of my hands. And they were able to get it.
Yeah. Lutz has missed 4 times in the last 5 games. So before that, I would imagine that he was a top 6 or 8 kicker because before that, he had only missed once all year. He's in a slump. It was actually over 40 yards yesterday, the one that he missed. But it's a kick he makes all the time, and he missed one of those against the Falcons, and he missed a long one against Atlanta in the first game that the two of them played. But they're kicks that we expect him to make. Hanging with Hester and Hanny is brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Something happens 14 times, you would definitely call it a trend. 14 times this year, interest rates have hit an all-time low. Happened again last week. So right now, if you feel like you can save some money with your monthly interest rate on your home, contact GMFS Mortgage. Right now, you can talk to a qualified counselor like my friend Greg Price did such a great job for me. And you can talk about your options. Maybe a refi on your current home, maybe a construction loan if you need to upsize. Maybe you're in the market for a new home, even a first-time home owner. More purchasing power than you've ever had. Start your journey at gmfsmortgage.com. When you meet with a local counselor, they'll ask some questions, you'll give them some answers, and you'll set some goals. And from there, all the way through the closing, I think you're going to be really pleased at the service you get and the speed with which it all processes. Start that journey today, as thousands of others have done, at gmfsmortgage.com.
Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap your football weekend. Saints, Eagles, and Tigers, Gators. We'll also hear from Coach O. Join us Monday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Week before Christmas, and we got 27 games on tap this weekend in college football. Championship weekend.
I'm okay with it.
I'm very okay with it, including the Pac-12 championship game. You know who's going to be in that?
Because you asked it that way, did they change teams? Washington's out?
Washington's out.
Oregon in?
Oregon's in. You know
Did
why?
they? Really?
Yeah, they don't have enough guys at Washington. They can't meet
the conference championship game.
So here's the problem. Out of Washington's starting offensive line, you know how many of them are eligible to play? The starting offensive line.
5.
You know? Yeah. How many of them are eligible to play?
5.
None.
None. Oh, none?
Right. Of Washington's backup offensive linemen, how many of them are eligible to play?
I guess none.
None.
Oh, my God.
Of Washington's walk-on offensive linemen, how many of them are eligible to play?
Let's stay with the theme. None?
That would be 0.
Okay.
That is correct. They do not have an eligible offensive lineman in the building. That's a pretty good reason not to play. I mean, what else can you do? They haven't practiced since last Wednesday, which that would be a big enough problem. But if you don't have any offensive linemen, what do? I mean, LSU was, I think, one linebacker away last week from having to say, I don't know if we can play.
Yeah.
When you get that one position group and you don't have any, I mean, they don't have any offensive linemen. How do you play? So now the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 kind of deserves this, though. The Oregon Ducks, who have not won a game in a month, are playing now for the Pac-12 for the Pac-12 championship. What happens if they beat USC? I don't guess anybody cares.
Nobody cares because nothing's going to happen from that game. You don't get in a playoff spot. I guess maybe a New Year's Six game. That's it. That's the best you can do. But I mean,
I did ask the question last week, and it still holds. It still holds up. What is the difference between USC's resume and Ohio State's resume? I mean, they came from behind. They beat UCLA. I mean, there's basically one. The win over Indiana is the answer to it. That's it. The rest of it is pretty much what and what.
I went on Burnsy does a show on ESPN radio on Sunday mornings. Him and Katie George, fun show, best week ever. And he asked me the question, "Who's my top 4?" I'd have A&M number 4 over Ohio State, and you know how I feel about A&M and the expectations, and we've talked about that many times. I just can't justify a team playing 3 more games in the SEC and you playing only really one good football team and putting you in the college football playoff because of what I think you can do. This game on Saturday, LSU and Florida, showed that playing the games matter. And you've done it in your history as well, Ohio State versus Iowa versus Purdue. There's been some times we can point to where you lost to an unranked team by a lot, not a little, okay? So, to me, I would love to see them set an example. They're not going to. Like, Ohio State's going to be in. They're going to go thrash Northwestern. They're going to beat them, and they're going to be in. Okay. But playing only that amount of games when I've got teams in Cincinnati and Coastal with a third of the budget that you have, not even that probably for Coastal, probably a tenth of the budget that you have, and they found a way to play that many games. They called BYU and got that all those things that we know. And the Big Ten shown that they'll bend over backwards for you, so don't act like you don't have the conference behind you. Like, to me, so much can happen on the field, as we've seen so many times in college football. I'd love to see them set an example.
The only blemish on A&M's schedule is a loss at Alabama. That doesn't strike me as something that should be held really hard against you. I think that Ohio State, if they went to Tuscaloosa, would get beat by 4 touchdowns. I really do. I think Alabama has just beaten 10 SEC teams in a row, and nobody's come within 15 points of them. Now, think about that for a second. Yeah. Nobody's come close. If they can beat SEC teams and some good SEC teams, and I suspect they're going to beat Florida by more than 2 touchdowns on Saturday, foreshadowing to my picks on Friday. I promise I'll take Alabama against Florida. Yeah. They're going to they're going to beat Florida from one end of the dome to
You
the other.
have to be an elite team with an elite quarterback with elite offensive weapons, in my opinion, because it doesn't matter who you have on defense. It doesn't matter.
No, you have to. You have to get into the score in the 40s with them.
Because even LSU moved the football against Alabama. Now the game dictated them out of what they were trying to do, but they had success early in the game. You can move the football on Alabama if you have an elite offense, and there's going to be offenses that are set up better than LSU's are right now. Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne and Clemson, even in book at Notre Dame, and they've got a Sunday running back there. Now I don't know if they're good enough at receiver. But that's the only blueprint to go out there and beat Alabama.
You have to be able to score in the 40s, because if you took Dan Mullen and gave him the truth serum right now and said, I will give you sight unseen that you will give up 38 points to Alabama on Saturday and 475 yards and 38 points.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take it? Take it and run with it, man.
Yeah.
They're going to score more than that.
And kind of circling back to finish this conversation, it's not even so much that I think Texas A&M is an elite team. I realize they did lose by the 4 touchdowns. They did beat a Florida team. They've played an all-SEC schedule. But I just think playing the games matter. And y'all know I've been all season long, I've been champion for the Coastals and the Cincinnatis and even Louisiana Lafayette, which I think it's ridiculous that they're 12 spots behind Iowa State. Y'all have heard me make that argument. And playing the games, and for those teams with their budgets, where their athletic departments are, and they found a way to play not 8 games, not 9 games, 12 games, I think that's something that needs to go noticed and needs to get noticed, and it needs to help them get into a situation. I know they're not. I realize that I'm just talking for nothing about this subject, but that should mean something that they found a way.
The line on the game, by the way, is up to 17. You think there's been some Bama money come in? They've moved that line. They've moved that line pretty good, and the total is 75. So they expect Alabama to score 40. What does that work out to? 47 points. 47. Yeah, about 46, 47 points.
It's going to be 50 to 28.
50 to 28 is a.
Sound right?
No, if you did it exactly, it would be what, 46.
I'm just giving you my prediction.
20.
I'm not giving you Vegas's prediction.
Okay, your prediction. 50 to 28.
I'm a math minor. I can count better than that.
Hey, what's Malzahn got to pay in taxes on that $10.5 million?
Alabama state tax, I'd have to look it up. Probably about I guess it's 9% probably in Alabama, right? Do you think it's 9%? We'll look it up.
In Alabama, I wouldn't have any idea.
That's one of the states I haven't lived in, and probably will. No, I will never live in Alabama.
You never got paid to play in Alabama, right?
I never did. No.
I mean, LSU played there twice, so that means LSU didn't pay you, right?
I didn't get a Abe Lincoln from LSU. Ain't that something? Not one.
Ask Us is next in the Bayou Ford chat. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we are brought to you by Garcia Roofing. No gimmicks with Garcia. You know exactly what you're going to get. I tell you about this all the time because it's true. The free roof inspection is truly free, and they're going to give you an itemized list of exactly what you need. By the way, absolutely free inspection by experienced professionals. They're going to determine whether you need roof damage repair or if you need to be replaced with your entire roof, and they're not going to try to trick you. They're going to tell you, like I mentioned, exactly what you need. You're going to get all this work as well with the Garcia guarantee because they stand behind all of their work, Annie.
Roofing types, all of them. Shingles, metal, slate, Spanish tile roofing. And, and you get the little extras, the little things that just make it look, just dress it up a little bit. Your gutter helmets, your chimney caps, your metal awnings, all of your scroll work. Get it done by Garcia. Call 756-3100. Online, it's GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, Your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Tune into a Monday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, live from Ivar Sports Bar. Jimmy recaps the football weekend, including Saints, Eagles, and LSU, Florida, and we look ahead to the rest of the week's action. Join us at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Ask us in the Bayou Ford chat. All right, let's go. This isn't so much of a question as it is a statement that Dalton makes. He said, Ohio State has a better roster and a much better quarterback than the Aggies. It's the best team. You're holding a grudge, not picking the best team. I have a problem with that.
Trust me, if I'm holding a grudge, you don't listen to this show very often,
you
Dalton.
Yeah, you hate it. I do have a problem with picking the best team because I like to pick the most deserving team. I think Ohio State's got a better roster than A&M, and I think they've got a better quarterback. I agree with you, but I don't know that.
Right. It's a lot of thinking.
I think I don't like to speculate as much. So, yeah, do I think if Ohio State and A&M played, would Ohio State win? I do. But I don't know that. I thought Florida would win Saturday, too.
I have way more friends and people that are associated to Ohio State than I do Texas A&M. Trust me when I say this. This has nothing to do with A&M. But I just know that any given Saturday, we've seen it too many times. You can lose. Ohio State's done it too many times in their past for me to assume what they could do playing the amount of games that they've played. That's all. That's what we're saying here. Like, we have not seen enough on the field to be able to know for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, they're a fourth best team in college football.
Florida certainly had more people available on Saturday and had the better quarterback, and they lost. Ask us, that would be 47-30, right? Technically,
I don't know what you said. I was just throwing out my score prediction.
46-29, technically, would be right on the number, but you're pretty close. Ask us, have you ever heard a ref say threw a shoe 20 yards down the field? No, I thought that was priceless.
Oh,
that
so good.
he was so specific about what is it? Not unsportsmanlike conduct and just let it go. No. I'm going to tell you exactly what he did.
I loved it.
No,
I was watching the game. Me, Victor Howe, Scott Shanley were actually in the studios at CST. We're watching the game, and when he gave the yardage, me and Scott and Vic just started dying laughing because he's like 20 yards. If he would have said like an odd number, it would have been even 23 yards down the field.
You get some guy like they used to measure at the track meets.
Exactly. But Dan Mullen is a football move, right?
Right. Yeah,
a football move, 20 yards.
Sure. Ask us, have you finished your Christmas shopping yet?
My wife's the GOAT, and she's doing all of that right now. She does such a fantastic job getting
Do you have the same
everybody.
deal? You have the same deal at your house as I got at mine? I buy for her and she buys for everybody else?
Yes, that's exactly. And don't get me anything.
No,
I don't want anything.
I don't want anything.
No.
I will step in from time to time and get something from my brother, but she does the rest.
That's exactly how I do it.
Yeah,
I literally I take care of my brothers and her, and that's about it.
That's it. Because usually what I get from my brother has a cork in it, usually, or something like that.
See, ours is soccer jerseys.
Okay.
Yes, me and my older brother do.
Ask us. Ask us if you were a Florida fan this week, would you be putting your shoes on? Would putting your shoes on cause you a post-traumatic stress disorder?
Yes, for a long time it would. Every time I saw a cleat, it would remind me of what happened on Saturday.
This would be really tough.
This potentially could cost them from a New Year's Six game too. I mean, it probably will, because they're going to lose. They're going to have their third loss. A&M's going to have one. If A&M doesn't get in the playoff, unless we've seen years where 3 SEC teams.
It's got to put A&M ahead of them.
Yeah.
A&M would have 2 fewer losses and the head-to-head. Sure. Ask us, do you think Jacoby Stevens comes back next year? No.
No, he's been at LSU for a very long time, and him coming back this year, I thought was really solid. He could have, and so he'll make an NFL roster. He's just too versatile not to.
Ask us, did you see the Auburn guy in the Cam jersey pick up the bags of cash in the SEC Shorts video? I did. I
haven't seen it. I've heard that
this week's
really
episode
good
is funny. Yeah, it's the playoffs throwing Florida out of the house. It's pretty funny. Ask Hester, have you talked Doring off the ledge yet?
Typically Doring doesn't he loves Florida. He's from Gainesville, went to PK Young, which is their U-High. He's a Gainesville guy, Florida guy. Typically he doesn't get too up or down. This one hurt him. This one hurt him. He thought they had a real opportunity to do something special this year. This one hurt him. Talked to him on Sunday, and he didn't have the same pep in his step. He had to dress like the Tiger King today. Maybe by tomorrow he'll have a little bit of pep back.
Put him deep in the show so he can have the most possible time to recover. Craig says, ask us National Alabama Day. First, why? Second, what's the thing you despise the most?
What's the best thing to come from Alabama?
Orange Beach.
Okay, that's a good one. Senior Bowl. Love the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. You know what else is cool if you ever get a chance to do it is in Huntsville. They have the Space Center up there. Saturn V rocket,
I will say
pretty
the
cool
northern part of the state, it's really nice. My brother-in-law played football at North Alabama. We spent some time up there going to some of his games. Muscle Shoals, as they say up there. Pretty cool spot.
Right. Ask us, where was I? Ask us, is TJ Finley on LSU's roster next fall? The third quarterback probably won't be.
Does any team going to have 3 quarterbacks on scholarship from now on?
If they have a spring practice and they have
the writing's on the wall for one of them.
If they have a definite pecking order and one guy is third, plus you've got
Nussmeier. Is he an early enrollee? I would assume everybody is now. It seems like.
You know what? I'm not 100% sure, but let's take Nussmeier out of it. If out of the other 3, the 3 returners, if there is a clear-cut number 3, then I would expect that that he would move. I don't know if that's going to be TJ Finley, but I would expect.
We want to throw it out there. TJ Finley didn't lose the starting spot. They gave Max an opportunity because they were set on playing both quarterbacks. I don't think there was, just poor play from TJ Finley. There were some highlights in there.
Yeah. Ask us, do you believe in good luck charms, and if so, what is yours? So I don't have a good luck charm I don't have like a rabbit's foot or a horseshoe or anything like that. But I will tell you that when I was calling baseball games, I was one of the most superstitious people in the entire press box, maybe in the entire stadium. Because if I would sit a certain way, fold my hands a certain way, wear a certain is very regimented about what we wore to game. We went with the team, because you're supposed to match. We wore white on Fridays, purple on Saturdays, and gold on Sundays. Unless we lost, and then we would change it up, so you would wear it. So, not necessarily a good luck charm, but I was very superstitious about.
Oh, I'm very superstitious. Yeah, I had to be listening to Audio Slave "Shadow of the Sun" with Brett Helms on the bus before we got to Victory Hill. After I walked down, I had my routine. When I sat in my locker, I had to listen to "If I Can Dream" by Elvis, or my pregame was shot. That's how it had to be. No other way.
And it worked out pretty well for you.
Exactly. So. Let me ask this one because it is hilarious. This is from Jude. Ask us, if you are Kirby Smart, do you sign Marco Wilson as a quarterback?
Yes. That needs to be the next. That needs to be the next SEC Shorts for sure.
Yes.
Thanks to everybody for participating. For Cade Wazan, Paul O'Neill, for Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for AFR 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars.